All right, we're going to reconvene. It's roughly 1:36. So we'll move to agenda item number 3, Roger Goodwin, approval to advertise to fill the office clerk position.
I'm requesting approval to advertise to fill the position of office clerk in the Department of Engineering, Planning, and Zoning. The position is vacant due to the recent retirement of an employee. The current budgeted salary amount is $35,083 a year. The proposed action is a fiscal year 19 budget neutral action. No additional fundings needed.
I'll move to approve the advertising to fill the position of the office clerk in the Department of Engineering, Planning, and Zoning at a not-to-exceed salary of $35,000 per year.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir.
Can you tell me who retired?
Christine Chalmers.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry I didn't know about that, so, all right. Well, she was with you a good long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so I'm sorry for this morning taking longer than usual. I try to keep us on schedule as much as I can. Everybody knows me. I'm a stickler on that. So let's move to number 9, because I know a lot of people in the audience have been waiting for quite some time. To discuss options for tearing down and relocating the courthouse Confederate plaque.
I just want to make a comment. I had also put this on the agenda for today. I put it on the agenda right after the meeting last Thursday, and my agenda request was a little gentler, let me say, than this one was, and I think it was something to the effect that to discuss options for removing the Confederate plaque to a more suitable location. So, and then Josh told me later that he had taken mine off and put his on. So I just wanted to make that clear.
I mean, I don't deny putting it on there, because it is my opinion what we are doing is essentially tearing down a memorial plaque. So I understand there's differing opinions here, and just for the record, I don't condone anything the Confederacy did, and I think slavery was the most important thing that ever happened in this country. I just have a general difference of opinion regarding the plaque and what it actually is doing.
And I would like to add that I also had submitted an agenda request, and mine was worded, relocate the United Daughters of the Confederacy plaque from the courthouse. So we're all here for the same purpose.
Okay, just to that point, I was familiar with Commissioner Nolan's. I did not see Commissioner Tabb's. I thought you guys had a joint one that was Commissioner Nolan's, so.
It was a joint.
But I changed it, and so because I felt for what is being done, the agenda needs to clearly outline what's being done. So if there's a decision that is actually that occurs here today, it is followed incorrect sequence. So.
Well, I will move that the United Daughters of the Confederacy plaque be removed from the courthouse and delivered to Ms. Polly Wharton, the representative of the United Daughters of the Confederacy, as I believe she requested during the public meeting on that matter.
Second.
Any discussion?
I will just ask a question. I know there's a schedule, and I don't know if it's talking about a month or 3 months down the road for the front of the courthouse to be redone.
I think I forget the timeline, but yeah.
It's probably going to be in the spring.
Okay, well, then I
Because
will
it's going to be.
I just thought it'd be make sure that everything was done correctly and the bricks weren't damaged and everything.
Can you speak into the mic, Ross?
That's my fault. That the bricks wouldn't be,
I don't think it's on.
There's a button.
There you
well, wait until,
Yeah, wait till it's finished.
okay.
I apologize. I was just concerned, I want the plaque to be removed also, and I think giving it to the Daughters of the Confederacy is a good step on it. I just was concerned about the any damage to the front of the building, and if we were doing something already on the front, I thought that might be a good time to do it.
Well, I was going to suggest that the county administrator contact maintenance, and they would know the proper way to remove it, and perhaps put something protective up there until the painting job is completed.
I just have a general question. Going forward, is this commission going to be favorable to a new inclusive memorial to Civil War soldiers? Just a general question.
I would favor that, but at this point, I don't know who will accept it, or if we need to form a committee to study the issue of where perhaps another war memorial could be created to honor not only the Confederates, but the Union and Vietnam and Afghanistan and World War I and World War II. But I think the immediate thing before us is to remove the plaque, but that's a second step.
I was just wondering
Yeah.
if I would reach out to people in the community if they
Yeah.
could put something together and donate it.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that as long as it's not on the courthouse wall.
That was an adjacent topic I wanted to bring up. I don't think we can do it under this agenda, but we do need to consolidate what's on the courthouse and maybe take it off, put it off to the side, something.
There's currently, there's one for World War I, I think.
Yes, there's World War I is the only war memorial
Yeah.
there.
I think
That's
there's
right.
actually one embedded in, there's one in concrete.
And
And I
I
can't
can't
remember-
landmark one. There's also a historic land. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
I can't remember either, so don't feel bad about that, but, yeah, I would
One
not.
to an educator, minister on there too, I'm not sure. I don't know how that's attached, I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
So,
And there was a plaque that was, and I can't remember what it was, and I thought it was the World War I plaque, disappeared or something.
No, that's the only,
There's
it's
one
up
that
on the
just-
left as you're
Yeah.
looking at the front.
There was one that
Front door.
disappeared because the 4 holes are still there. I did, yeah.
Maybe someone took it.
Well, it was reported taken, but I can't remember what it was, because it was just when I first moved here.
Oh, so it's been a while ago.
Anything further? Just a general question, just from my standpoint, I understand emotions are very high over this subject across the entire country, not just Confederate plaques, but crosses, et cetera. I think it's unfortunate that us as a society has come to the point of tearing things down, because in 2018, we have a very political correct culture. So the way to solve everything is just tear it down, hide it, put it somewhere else, shield it from society. Whereas some of these things, necessarily me or anybody else may totally disagree with everything that plaque may signify, but it is a talkable item. We can show our children that plaque. Yes, I understand the argument in a museum or whatnot also, but we should remember that we don't want to repeat history, okay? I mean, there have been atrocious things that have occurred throughout history. And I hate to see the society has come to the point where we tear things down. So I will not be supporting the motion or following a lot of my 3 Democratic colleagues on this issue. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
No.
Passes 3-2.
I do want to correct something, there's 2 Democrats and a Republican.
All right, we'll move on. We're not going to have a number 6. That's for next time, potentially. We'll move to, Stephanie, let's move to you because you have to leave.
So I was just actually, I told you the IT support position, I'm going to, until I can find some funding. And then the meet and greet, Sandy's going to come over, I think you can.
I think we're going to do January, right? Yeah.
And then the relocation of the tax office is an ongoing issue that I'll probably, can I update you on that via email?
Sure.
Is that, don't reply, just
Yeah,
just
that's
receive
fine.
the email, and then if it merits discussion, we can put it on the next time.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Steph.
I just have a question for you. I believe we requested that you send our questions to DEP about air quality and so forth, and I don't think we've ever, or whatever DEP questions we had.
Yes.
And we've never gotten an answer that
And
I know
I was
of.
waiting for Peter to send that, I think I forgot to do that, actually, because I was waiting for Peter, he said he had some, and I was waiting to send them all together, and I got yours, and you're the only commissioner who sent them. So I will send them, I apologize. Peter kept saying he had some questions. I don't think I received them, and so I was waiting, and then it just totally slipped out of my mind, so I'll have to send those. I have sent other letters to DEP, but they've been,
I really want to understand how self-monitoring works and
Yes.
some other details.
All right, is that it? All right, so I don't think I guess Sandy's gonna come for meet and greet. All right, let's move to 7. Just one general comment. Just because you see something on the agenda, just as a JCC president, I help determine the agenda. So just in case you see something on there, doesn't necessarily mean any commissioner will act on it. I just put it on there just in case someone is compelled to need to do something. So like you see removal of JC, there might be no action whatsoever, but just because of the overarching category, I felt that putting that there would be accurate. So let's move to 7, discussion of JCDA board member resignations and reduction of board membership.
I think we've had some discussion on it. I believe I put something on my Facebook which got some discussion going out in the public. I had proposed or asked the question whether we should just for temporarily scrap the board and have the commission vote on issues on it. I got a mixed bag of results to that. I got some people that agreed with me, some people that didn't agree. But I just thought I'd say that I'd got some discussion going that way. And I think we personally have talked about the number. I think I was talking about 17. I think somebody else was talking about 15. But that was, I think, where we stopped.
Yeah, and just for discussion purposes, can we intertwine 7 and 8 because they kind of like fall in line with each other, per se, just for time purposes? So here's the thing. I don't think I would like personally to start from a clean slate, to tell you the truth, at JCDA, period. Just clean slate no matter what. And I tend to agree with Commissioner Lorenzetti around like 15 to 17 members. Not too little, but not way too much where you can't accomplish anything. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, others will have their own.
Yeah, I think, definitely a smaller board. As far as scrapping the members that are there now, I don't know that we can do that. I don't know what the logistics are surrounding that, and I don't know that I really want to. I mean, those people have, every person on that board, whether you agree with them or not, has put a lot of time and effort into what they're doing and what has been done. And with the resignation of, look, we have trouble finding people to serve on these boards. Probably won't have a problem finding people to serve on this board, but my concern, and I'll tell you right up front, my concern is it's going to be a one issue. And so, I'm looking for people who can be objective, who are looking out for the best interest of the county. And the purpose of the Development Authority is to bring business into Jefferson County so that we can afford to operate through our tax roll and through our tax revenue that we receive. So, I'm going to be focused on people who are interested in doing that as these applications come in. And because I believe that's our responsibility to continue to operate this county within the confines of the amount of revenue that we receive. It's a legal requirement to go beyond that. So, I think diversity is a good thing. I'm not opposed to that. I've said that many times. And so my focus is going to be on people who can be objective and are looking out for the economic well-being of the county.
I think removal of the members, the current members, is an unwise position to take and looks punitive, and I will not support that. I'm trying to, as we go forward, I'd like a smaller board, and I also want it to be balanced between citizen representatives and municipalities. I feel that I wish I had the census so I could maybe do it more by population numbers, but the way I'm looking at it, if we had a 15-member board and appointed citizen representatives to the current 4, that would give you 7 for purely citizen representation. Then you 2 more city or municipality representatives, so that would give you the 5. And then you have the kind of specialty representation of one labor, one BOE, Board of Ed, and then a commissioner representative. So I feel like that right now, 15 would be the most balanced approach in many ways. The citizen representation a little bit more than just the 5 municipalities, but still getting the broader picture of what's needed in the county. Not only within the municipalities, but within the county itself. If that made any sense or not, but that's the way my thinking's going.
I agree with that.
I kind of like what Commissioner Tab just laid out.
Makes sense. Because we have requirements. There are requirements. There has to be people representing, and we, we adopted the Board of Education representative now has a vote on the board. And so we have to have somebody from labor. We have to have there are other requirements, like Jane said, one for municipalities. And so, and I would like to see someone on there. Visitor travel is so important in the county. And I think it needs to be a county, a representative to represent the entire county that should serve on that board, because it's a county, the county CVB is represented.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me just say, the reason I had put up on my Facebook about dissolving the board was at that time, there had been the advice of counsel that I heard a lot from board members that they were going to be held liable if they voted a certain way. I think we had a discussion with our attorney, and he indicated, I believe, that as long as it's not for money or something, your vote, you would not be subject to suit. That was my concern about that.
Let's just make sure everything stays
I understand.
between attorney and client.
But I'm just saying that I didn't want the current members to be the ones stuck with, that threat over them.
Yeah. I just, as far as board size, I heard Commissioner Tab, I generally would like to see a more majority citizen board versus municipal board, because something that may benefit municipalities more so, they may get together and try to grab an extra citizen. I want a citizen board that outweighs the municipality boards.
Well, I think that's what this does, because if you add the 4 citizen representatives that we have, and then add 3 after the scenario for 15 members, so that it gives you 7, and then I also included the Board of Ed representative and the commission representative for 2 more for citizen representation. So that gives you 9.
Does that include labor, Jane?
No, that does not include
Okay.
labor. So you would have 9, what I consider citizen representatives. You'd have 5 municipality and 1 labor.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that comes to 15.
And so the code, just to be clear, says that you have 1 member for the county commission, 1 for each municipality, and then it says other members shall be appointed by the county commission and shall include representatives of business, industry.
Well, and I'm including that in citizen representation, that we can find those
That could
folks
be-
within that.
That could be, you could get a 2 for there.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I still like Commissioner Lorenzetti's at 17, just to more heavily stack. I understand it's still heavily stacked, but I want a very heavily stacked citizen. So that's just my prerogative. I like 17, not 21.
Well, I just feel like the bigger you get, you can't have a manageable discussion with 17 people. Even 15 is difficult. And I think we have seen that then the ones that are in the know are the officers or the executive committee, and the other members show up and they're told how to vote, or what the vote is, or what's on the agenda, and that's the way it is. And I would think it'd be very hard for the staff to manage more people. I mean, look at what we go through sometimes getting meetings for 5 people and our staff availability, and you just add 2 more to that, and it it just increases the problems.
Just one thing to your point, they show up and they're told how to vote. What do you mean by that? They show up and they're told how to vote, or
Well, I think that's been implied in the past.
I have a hard time feeling that everybody is told to vote there. I don't understand how that makes sense. I mean,
Well, you just heard Commissioner Lorenzetti, and it's been out on Facebook, but that the members have been told they are personally liable if they didn't approve something. To me, that implies the way you should vote. So,
okay, so, all right, that's,
Well, I think we go through that. We go through the same thing. I mean,
Perhaps.
based upon legal advice, I think we all are trying to, what will keep us out of trouble, basically.
my thing was that was a general statement, not
I
a
understand.
issue-specific statement, so I just want to make sure, like, overarching going on, I haven't heard about, but,
I think there's a view, and it may or may not be true, that, and I think Jane mentioned it, the officers, the executive committee, and I've seen it in other organizations, that they feel that they run the organization. And unless you really want to be adamant, you normally follow along with that, and I think that's what she's implying.
Okay.
And I think that's
that's what I
bad.
meant. Thank
But
you.
I think
Thanks
you
for
could do that with
clarification.
17, but I don't.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, we have to come to some number, so,
I move that we reconstitute the Jefferson County Development Authority Board, advertise for vacancies, which I think we've already done, and follow this scenario to make it a 15-member board. Which means there are 6 vacancies that need to be filled. The Shepherdstown representative, Bolivar representative, labor rep, 3 citizen representatives, and hopefully we will conform to the state code.
I'll second the motion.
any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Same thing. Passes 3-2, so. All right, just, any comments on attendance or anything? I just,
Well, yeah, I mean, attendance is a big thing. You can't attend members of these boards and not show up for meetings and then get ticked off when something happens that you don't like. So attendance to me is number one. It takes a commitment. So if you're committed to serving on these boards, or any board, the number one priority is to show up, so you'll know what's going on, and you can be better informed that way. I mean, there's no way to be informed if you're not going to be there.
exactly, and just, I mean, you got to show up. I mean, it's essentially a volunteer job you took on as your responsibility. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but there are 50% attendance rates on some of these folks, which is just unacceptable. If you can't serve, let someone else who can serve step in your place. And I mean, also, the new board that's formed, there's been discussions of the times are bad or et cetera. That new board majority can dictate new times, meeting times, et cetera, if they choose to do so. So,
Well, and I think it's important to note also that it is at the end of most people's workday. And most of the people that sit on these boards are there, number one, they're representing either their municipality or county or maybe education. And, they're doing that as a part of their job. So, I think the board, when the board decides to meet, does have to be up to the board. And it depends on when the people who are appointed to the board can be there. And when the meetings are. If you can't be there, then you shouldn't be applying.
Well, let me ask, Patsy, I don't disagree with anything you say, but do we have that in writing anywhere? Do we have a rule for
Well,
board membership?
The bylaws of the Development Authority state that if any member fails to attend 3 regular consecutive meetings without an acceptable excuse, the executive committee, with the concurrence of the board, may recommend to the county commission that the offending member be removed. So you do have that for sure.
so I guess if you want to say in the mic?
I'm sorry. Essentially, the bylaws say that if a member misses 3 consecutive meetings, of the Development Authority without a good excuse, then the Board of the Development Authority can recommend to the County Commission.
Did you guys hear that? Okay. Thank you, Nathan. So, yeah, that's just, you guys know my opinions on boards, meetings, et cetera. We all de facto serve the citizens of the county, so they're part of that board. And again, like Commissioner Nolan said, the board can choose when they want to meet regardless. So just like the county commission, the majority chooses the direction, et cetera. Is there anything else further on this?
I would just ask that have our attorney at some point look up the bylaws that other people are using for the state and see if we're current with everybody or if something else is being done in other boards and things. Because I think it's not just here. I belong to other associations, and it is a problem getting attendance at things.
Even calling in is acceptable every so often, so you're still,
Typically, each board has their own bylaws, and each of the various bylaws address this issue if they do address it. A lot of times they do address it. And, you know, I'm happy to generally review our boards. The Development Authority typically has its own attorney, as does. And so I mean, I can certainly see what they do, like I've done here. I don't typically try to tell them what to do because they have their own lawyer and they're their own. But I'd be happy to look at it, Commissioner Lorenzetti.
all right, I think we're done on that issue. Let's jump real quick to meet and greet. Sandy?
Okay, do we have a date? Have we talked about a date? No. I wasn't sure where we were on that.
Where we were last week, and that's no decision.
No decision,
But
okay.
we did decide,
Okay.
to, that we would like to do it in January.
Down in January, okay. Do you want me to come up with a couple dates and send them out to you?
Not the second or the first?
It would be,
No.
I'd push it out, how's that?
Yeah, like
Okay,
maybe toward the.
all right, we can do that.
Yeah.
All right.
The holiday weekend too, I think the 21st.
Yeah, the 21st is a holiday.
Maybe the week of the 14th, or the 7th or the 14th, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that would.
That's fine, yeah. The week-
And I guess we'll need a
email.
location.
We'll need a location, and, where was that? I can't
Last one
remember
was
the
the
rotation.
Citizens Fire Company,
That's right.
Charlestown District.
What about, it's been a while since we met in Shepherdstown? Where's the longest one we haven't been to?
Cabletown.
So that's, why don't we do Cabletown then?
All right.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Where would
that's
we
good.
go? Church out there?
Maybe South Jefferson School?
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
I'll see if I can get permission from them, fill out the forms.
I think it's pretty easy with that school.
Okay.
I think they're pretty amenable to.
Okay, great.
7th through the 14th at South Jefferson, tentatively.
7th to 14th? All right.
And what time do you want to start?
Sometimes they can be pretty long. Right. So, I don't know, is 6 o'clock too early? What does everybody think about
I
that?
think you've done that before.
I think the
think
last
so,
one was
too.
at 6-ish,
I
at
think so,
Citizen.
too.
That's fine with me, I don't know anybody else.
Do you want a time limit like 6 to 7, 6 to 8, or just say 6 o'clock?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're there for them, so if there's 1,000 people, we'll all stay.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, sounds good.
All right. All right, so last thing on the agenda, number 10, Jefferson County Property Safety Enforcement Agency, Fire Chief position.
Yes, we have to have a chief on that board, and we had one resign. And I sent out an email. I did have one response from Earl Kogel, from all of the chiefs, and he said he could do it. I believe Alan Kaiser did offer to do it, but I'm not sure.
Does it have to be a chief?
It has to be a fire
Does he
chief.
qualify as a fire chief?
The way Stephanie talked, I believe he does, because we have that protection, fire protection with the ESA. And I think they do call him Chief 11, so.
Because I thought Alan, at the ESA board meeting, I think that came up, that Alan was considering it also. You want to hold off on this and talk to Alan and make sure that, just to be fair. Yeah, just,
I think we need to
Right.
confirm.
Well,
I mean, we do have
and that
rural
he is a
that's-
West Virginia fire chief. I just want
Right.
that confirmed too,
For-
because
Yes.
it's a little different with ESA compared to
Ellen,
fire department.
okay. So let's just hold that off until, for more information,
All
if
right, we'll
that's
put
okay
that
with
back on the
everybody.
agenda.
Get legal.
Okay.
All right. In that regard, I guess that's it, so I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we're adjourned.
Hey, Sandy.